Welcome back. In this module of the Leadership Transition course, we will be looking at the topic leading versus managing. We will define what leading is and what managing is and try to differentiate between them. Also, we will look at different levels of leading and managing. So what is exactly leading? We defined leadership as getting people to understand and believe in your vision and work. So which means you really have to get people convinced to follow you. Managing, in simple terms, simply means executing what has been agreed upon, which means if you have a task, you know how it will go, you simply manage that task through. Or if you have a team and you know what they need to do, you simply guide them through that without really trying to change things. You just want to do the things the right way that is agreed. So basically, if you compare a manager to a leader, then if you look at the focus, for example, you will see that managers are more transactional. They try to meet objective. They try to, delegate tasks, and those tasks or work should be done according to agreements, while leaders look more beyond that. Apart from just meeting objectives or what has been agreed, they look beyond that and look at, okay, what if something does not go the way I want? Or is this really meeting the target or a future vision that we have? And how do we go? Priority wise, when it comes to being a manager and a leader or a leader, when it comes to doing a work, the manager just wants to get the goal done, managing tasks. Okay, but the leader does not just care about the work and the priority, but also want to be concerned about you as a person, and they are more focused on the people, the behavior, how do they do things? Is there something wrong? So one thing is to get the work done, another thing is the people behind it, to make sure that they buy in. And when you look at both of them, both the manager and the leader, from a team's perspective, a lot of people who are managers sometimes see their team as subordinates. So they lead through authority and managing tasks, which means they tell you what to do and you have to do it. You might have some objection, which is fine to discuss, but in the end, you have to. But when you talk about a leader, they see the team as followers, which means they put the people on equal level as them. They ask for ideas, they inspire you, they influence you, they ask you to contribute. When you look at all this again, it makes a manager, from his perspective, of their perspective, do things rightly, while a leader will do the right thing, not necessarily doing things right as agreed. But if something that was initially to be done in a particular way which was considered right, a leader might consider changing it if that is not the right thing to do. But a manager would want to go through with that because that is the agreed thing to do. And this is one basic difference. And you can look at them in several ways, in terms of goals and objective, their vision, risk. A manager would avoid risk. A leader would like to take more risk. And a manager wants stability. A leader likes change that brings benefits both to the people. So in leading, a manager would put himself in the forefront and guide the people and help them grow. And as a manager, might just direct them on what to do, and they may just be on their own. And that gives you some ideas and differences between these two. So when you look at different levels of leadership in that sense, which could also be applicable to managing, because one thing is that these two topics are used interchangeably by many, but there is really some differences between them. So if you want to be able to lead people, there are 5 levels you should think of. And for example, the lowest level could be based on your position. So people, follow you because they have to, which could be something of more of a managerial role. And you can also go to the next level, which means you start forming relationship with your people or team. And they follow you because they want to. They like to follow you because you built a level of relationship with them in how you discuss things and how you manage things. But then there are leaders who, apart from being able to build relationship, they produce results. And people really follow them because they see that with this person, they get results. Apart from the fact that they have relationship and apart from their position. And then there are people who are on the 4th level where, depending on what you have been able to do to your followers, for them, many of them will follow you. And they can develop because they know that with you, they not only get result, but for themselves, they can develop. And finally, the real last level, which is at the highest, is when people follow you because of what you are and what you represent. Even though they can develop, even though they get results by following you, even though they have a good relation, but then they understand that this is really who you are. They trust you to a level and they know what you represent and they don't need any other thing to convince them. And these are the levels you can look at and consider yourself as one who wants to go into leadership or management, as well as one who is already leading or managing. You have to ask yourself, where are you? What do each member of your team do? Where do they fall? Do they just follow you because of your position? Do they do what you want because of that? Or do you have a good relationship? Or do you get results? And how do you get the results? Or can you contribute to their development? And do they really know what you stand for? So this brings us to the end of this particular topic. Thank you for listening.